In a city where every brick remembers and every street carries whispers of time, a few homes rise above the ordinary. Spaces where walls do more than shelter, they breathe, they tell stories, and they hold the pulse of London in their bones. Our journey begins with 3 lives, 3 visions, and 3 homes, each remarkable not because of wealth alone, but because of imagination. Meet Anna Rutherford, an art curator who stumbled into a forgotten townhouse in Clerkenwell. Then James Holloway, an architect who remade a Georgian terrace in Islington. And finally, Samuel Lowe, a writer who turned a derelict warehouse on the Thames into a sanctuary of words and light. Anna's home was not always elegant. When she first stepped through its warped wooden door, the air was heavy with damp and silence. The house seemed asleep, its windows clouded, its staircases groaning with age. Yet she saw possibility where others saw ruin. Her grandmother, a painter, once told her that houses are like canvases. You must look beyond the first layer of paint. Anna carried those words into her search, and when she found this neglected townhouse, she knew instantly that it was hers. Restoration became her devotion. Every cracked plaster wall was carefully peeled back, every fireplace uncovered like an archaeological find. She invited craftsmen who understood the language of age. Lime plaster instead of cement, timber beams revealed rather than hidden. The old and the new became partners. A modern glass atrium now floods the central staircase with daylight, yet the hand-carved banisters, smoothed by centuries of hands, remain untouched. The house no longer sleeps. It sings. Anna calls her home a conversation between eras. In the kitchen, medieval tiles rest beneath sleek steel counters. In the study, oil paintings hang beside neon light installations. To her, beauty is not about perfection, but about tension, the way time collides with now. This house reminds me daily, she says softly, that history is never finished. We are only adding another brushstroke. A short distance away, James Holloway was searching not for history, but for light. As a young architect, he had spent years designing offices for others, craving a project of his own. When he found a narrow Georgian terrace suffocated by partitions and shadows, he saw a challenge, almost a dare. Where most saw a corridor of cramped rooms, he saw the possibility of openness. The terrace was stripped bare, as if to its skeleton. James cut through floors to create double-height voids, inserted skylights that pulled daylight deep into the house, and crafted floating staircases that seemed to defy weight. Yet, rather than erase the past, he sharpened its edges. The original brickwork remains exposed, carrying scars of coal smoke and time, while polished concrete floors stretch like rivers of modernity beneath them. The old and the new do not compete. They coexist, like 2 instruments playing in harmony. For James, the terrace is not only a home, but a manifesto. It represents his belief that architecture is not about grand statements, but about generosity, how a space can hold both memory and possibility. Light is the most honest material, he often says. And here, light is everywhere. It pools across the kitchen table in the morning. It shimmers across the brick walls at dusk, and at night it rests quietly, as though exhausted by the day's journey. Further east, the Thames curls past an old warehouse, once abandoned, its bricks blackened with soot and tide. Samuel Lowe, a novelist, discovered it while wandering after a long night of writing. The warehouse stood silent, almost defiant, its windows shattered, but its presence undeniable. Samuel, who had grown up in cramped flats, felt an instinctive pull. He wanted not just a place to live, but a place to dream, a sanctuary where words could find space to breathe. The transformation was radical. Steel beams, once rusting, were restored to strength. Vast windows replaced the broken panes, framing the river like a moving mural. Instead of hiding the warehouse's scars, Samuel embraced them. The graffiti remains on one wall, preserved beneath a layer of clear resin. The floorboards bear the marks of crates and machinery. In the center, he built a library. Shelves stretching to the ceiling, ladders sliding along rails, a cathedral for books. Above it, a mezzanine holds a writing desk facing the water, where tide and time dictate the rhythm of his days. For Samuel, the warehouse is both fortress and mirror. Its vastness allows solitude, yet its openness reminds him of the world beyond. The river, always moving, becomes his muse. "The house and I," he says, "are both works in progress. Neither of us is finished, and perhaps that is the point." In London, where centuries stack upon one another like manuscripts in a library, these three homes stand as chapters in an ever-unfolding story. They are not just places to live, they are testaments to vision, patience, and the quiet bravery of transformation. And as night falls over the city, their windows glow like lanterns, reminding us that the soul of a home is not in its walls, but in the stories it dares to tell.